Hey everybody, I am joining you with a rather dramatic take on the Needs palette today. I had a great question from someone. They said they travel with this palette a lot, and coming up they've got a special event where they will be wanting sort of the dramatic nighttime look. They say they're very comfortable with doing the day looks, but they want to know how to take this very natural seeming palette in a dramatic direction. And so I've got a great idea for you today. I think it's fun, it's intense, but it's not scary, and I think it's got a little fall twist to it as well. As you'll see in the tutorial, we're not starting from zero. I'll have some things on the face and then I'll take you through how I'm using the face colors today and also the eyes. So what I've got on my skin right now is my foundation concealer powder. I put on a little bit of this Hollywood Flawless filter because I thought having a little bit of that on top of my cheeks, by the way, that's on top of everything I just mentioned, I thought it might exaggerate the highlight a little bit more and make for a more dramatic look today. And I also have my brows done, but at this point that's all that's on my face, and we're gonna go through a slightly more dramatic look with my little Needs palette here, which just looks natural as can be, but you know, it's capable of some things. We're first gonna go through some of the face colors, and I'm gonna go into Courage, and I'm using my brush that I got out of that Stephanie Marie Sigma set, and it's the Large Angle Contour F40. This brush has just been great, not only for really fitting those shades, like just the physical size of it is good to fit in those pans, but it's really nice for every step of the process. It's a nice blender. It's just kind of what you need for these face powder steps. So I am getting a little bronze here around my hairline. It's almost coming up under where my hair is here. Next we're going to go into that, and you don't need to really scrub into it, you know, you just get a little bit. I'm going to take it here under my cheekbone and go in for a real contour today. And the way I do that is just kind of lay down the color and then buff through it in circular motions. And the thing I have to be conscious of is just to not go too low. I feel like when I bring it up just a little higher than I think, I get a much more flattering effect. So we're not going on top of the cheekbones with this color by any means, but just kind of below it. And it might kind of surprise you how little you need of this. This shade can go very deep if you build it up, but for this purpose, I am just dabbing in. I'm getting the entire surface of the brush coated with some product. I'm going to get it exactly where I want it to be here, and then I'm just going to use that same brush to buff it in. And you'll find it blends beautifully into the skin. That's what I love about this shade that originated from the Ultra Contour palette from Makeup Revolution. And I'm blending that like right up back to my ear, you know, my little sideburn hair right there. That's where I'm getting it up into, and then really giving it its greatest buff as we get closer into the center of the face. But what I like about this shade is that I do feel like it's a workable contour, but it's also great to just lightly dust it with a pretty big brush all over your face, and it just really amps up your complexion that way. But we can also take it under the jaw here. Okay, really happy with that. We've achieved kind of a soft bronziness kind of up around the forehead. We definitely have chiseled out the cheeks. And another thing you can do is utilize kindness here, which I often use that to set the under eye, but I'm going to take my brush into this right now, and I'm just going to kind of sweep it here lower on the cheek. And it will create a bit more of a contrast with your darker powder. Now, it's not going to be in an insanely profound sense like would happen if you were using cream contour shades and cream highlights. But on my face, I can see it happening right here in person. I can see it kind of bringing that part of my jawline out a bit more in comparison to the contoured part that's receding. And then, of course, you can bop into that shade and dab it on your under eye if you feel like you need a little added flawlessness there. One of my very favorite steps with this palette is definitely the blush. My blush is Joy. It's right here, and I'm going to, again, one dab into the product. If you go scrubbing your brush into that, I warned you, it's going to be too much, but we're going to go right out here on the outer part of the apple of the cheek. That's where I like to first place it, and then just buff it all around. The thing that I'm kind of trying to teach myself these days, as in like just the last few days that I've really been conscious of this, is to not be afraid to let my blush come up a little higher. It can be a very fresh look. It can really liven up the face in a way that you might not be used to seeing on your face, just letting your blush come up. So I like to go a little at a time. I think I am going to take a bit more. Just continue swirling. Love, love, love the effect. Absolutely beautiful. It really plays with the contour shade nicely, I think. And if you ever want to make the blush a bit more of a neutral type blush, not so corally, but a little more rooted in a neutral tone, definitely dab between Courage and Joy. If you want to make the effect of Joy much lighter, dab between Joy and Kindness. And if you want to turn Joy into a shimmery blush, dab your brush between Joy and Gratitude. Isn't that great? And I feel like those of you who are really getting in tune with this palette and using it every day are really becoming aware of that kind of versatility and the ways you can truly make it your own. One shade in this palette isn't just one shade, you know, it can serve the other shades really well too. Okay, so once you get that blush where you want it, then we can do a little bit of highlighting. And I can definitely effectively highlight with that angled brush, but today I do want to go a bit more pinpointed, so I'm going to pull out my Moda Highlight and Glow brush. We're going to go right into Gratitude, get the whole surface of the brush covered there. I'm going to start right here on the apple of my cheek. Sweep upward. Oh, a nice little pearlescent glow. This isn't going to be one of those highlights that has a lot of like flecky shimmer that you really have to spend a lot of time working into the skin, but I still think the buffing motion, I don't know, it just helps. I love how this highlight, instead of attracting attention to uneven texture in pores, it just has this kind of magical smoothing out effect. I hate to use the word magical where makeup is concerned, but I mean, it's a special highlight and it was chosen for that reason. It could be there for the people who wanted to be extra glowy, but at the same time, people who didn't have perfect skin wouldn't need to be scared of it. Because let's face it, we've all got something, right? We've got gorgeous glowing skin, my friends. Put that wherever you want it. You might pop a little on the forehead. I put a little down the nose. I'm going to pop a little here on the Cupid's bow area for a little added brightness there. And then I'm also going to use a little bit of my Revolution Hyaluronic Fix Spray. Absolutely love this setting spray. 4 spritzes, and we've been working with, you know, several phases of powder right now on our skin, and this just really enhances that little bit of a dewiness, and it only takes a few spritzes to get there, as you can see. Next, we're going to move to the eyes, and I'm going to use my Urban Decay Anti-Aging Primer Potion, and I'm so excited to do a look that's going to be unlike any needs tutorial that I've done here, because I feel like in comparison to the Once, you know, this is the more kind of natural look palette, but I always reference it as something that can go day to night, and I want to full on show you what the night is, you know? So I'm just getting my lids primed and just all over my lid. You know how I do this. Dab it on the lid, whatever's left, pull it up through the crease, and as far as you can go up to your brow. Working through my Urban Decay Anti-Aging Primer Potion, and I've got a backup Milani waiting for me. First thing I want to do is go into Faith right here. This is our kind of rusty brown, and I'm using my Sigma E25, and this is just going to be the color we kick things off with in the crease. Very nice matte to work with, easily blendable. Somebody the other day did a one shadow look with this shade. They had it really nicely blended from crease all the way out, just like a beautiful blend, and then they packed it on their lid. And it just looked gorgeous, you know? It's a great fall type pumpkin-y sort of shade if you're into that. Keep in mind that the most product goes where you first place your brush, so be very conscious of that. You probably don't want the most product in this kind of a step to go like right here, so make sure you're first placing your brush on the outer corner and then letting that shadow pull in. See, it's got a decent mobility to it to where it can be buffed across the skin through the crease, even though you started it over here. And now that I'm pretty satisfied with the way the crease looks there, I'm just gonna keep on blending that. I'm gonna take whatever this brush has still got in it, and I'm just gonna keep on letting this shade blend into nothingness. And we all vary in terms of how much space we have between our crease and our eyebrow, but whatever you got, just let it go. Let it blend, blend, blend. Okay, I just started to do this step before my camera cut out on me, but Peace is what I took right here, and I'm taking that just up on the border of everything. Let it come close to your brow. I love that shade. It's like the ultimate, just slightly hint of warmth, blended out helper. And Love is also so perfecting when you want to use that kind of on the edge of your look and you feel like, well, I'm 95% blended out here, but I could use a little help. Go into Love. Boom. You know, you feel like you've instantly got just the most perfect edge of your look. Now, neutrals versus neutrals, anyone? These two shades, that's where they come from. I'm going to go into Honesty, which is our really kind of juicy peachy coral shade. And I'm going to get this on about the inner half of my lid here. This is kind of a satin finish. This can look pretty in the crease as well. Here, didn't get quite enough on this eye. Kind of wipe down your brush, and then we're going to go into Passion. Rich smokiness here. And I'm dabbing that first, as you can see here, on the outer part of my lid. I think of this shade as Blackened Plum. We've got some really pure kind of purpley tones in the once, but this is your Blackened Plum. I didn't want it to be all out purple. I didn't want people to really come for this palette for the purpose of bold color, you know, but I wanted it to be something that had that hint of plum, but ultimately would just take a look in a smoky direction and be plenty pigmented enough to do that with ease. So what I've done here, I'm patting that on about the outer half of the lid. I'm letting it overlap my peach a little bit, and then I'm wedging the brush and getting it right there into the crease and pulling outward this way and also upward and outward too. Okay, we'll go through and blend that out a bit more in a second. Again, you pick it up on your brush, pat, pat, pat. Patting motion works terrific for this shade. And just keep patting, start to overlap. Oh, I love when these two shades overlap. It's the sweetness of that peach just getting a little bit darkened up. And to be totally honest with you, this shade, which at a glance in the pan reminds me a lot of Beauty Marked from MAC, I think it's softer and performs better than that color actually, which is fascinating, but it's true. Then we're coming back with the E25 and just using that to kind of further blend this shade as it has worked into our crease somewhat. And as you can see, I haven't even really created a super bold, like long outer V to this look. You certainly could, but I'm just, as I blend, I'm maybe directing the shadow a bit upward and outward, just because that's kind of the tendency of my hand when I get this brush in my hand. Funny how muscle memory just does kind of take over in these situations. But what I really liked about the way we prepped our crease with Faith is that brings the warmth. This color really brings a lot of cool and darkness and richness and depth, but I like the two kind of blending into each other. And in fact, I'm going to take a little more Faith with my Sigma E36 brush, or you could use your E25. This is just a little bit smaller, so I can control its path a little bit better, but I'm reinforcing a little bit more of that Faith terracotta brownish shade on the outside of the look. And it can help you sort of figure out what to do with this area where sometimes blending is a problem, for me anyway, on that inner part of the eye. Yep, we're smoky, y'all. Take your bare brush if you need to. Just go over your outsides again if necessary. If you need to reinforce any of Passion and add any more of that before we get into liner, now would be the time. I'm just adding a little extra to the lid just because I feel like in the act of blending out the crease, you know, you lose a little bit of what you packed on. Then I'm going to do some upper liner. This is my tattoo liner from Kat Von D. It's the Trooper shade, and we're going to go all the way across the upper lash line here. If you're wondering what's to come on the lower lash line, just you wait. It's going to be smoky. We just got to set things up the right way here. And I'm really winging this out. I'm so glad you guys are enjoying these added kind of weekly tutorials, because it really feels good to me. Just really bringing tutorials back to my channel, because sometimes, and especially this time of year as we start to get into holiday palette type reviews, things can become very review heavy over here. And it's nice to just sit back and say, you know, here's a little how-to. So we've got our wings there, and I'm definitely going to do a dark lower inner rim. I'm using this, something I just pulled out of my drawer here, this Tarte Man-Eater. It's one of those like kind of self-sharpening, like every time you twist it off, your eyeliner gets sharpened, although this appeared to be pretty majorly broken, so it's not really formed right now. But that's okay, I just want it in here. Get it in there, and then I'm gonna get a little on the outside like I like to do. It makes lower inner rim liner look a little less stark when you kind of dab some on your actual lash line as well. And then we'll go in with a smudge brush. See, I could have you convinced that I'm actually doing a nighttime look at nighttime, but it is in fact 6:11 a.m. here. Dark and early, my friends, dark and early. That's how we do. Now bring on your smudge brush. No product on it currently. Just smudging out whatever black liner you have there on your lower lash line. I just put a smidge of it, but as you can see, it can travel and move if you just blend it with a nice little stiff brush. So this E21 is perfection for that kind of step. All right, then I'm going to use that same brush and go into Passion. Let Passion come all the way under the wing. Let it come and hang out over that liner that you applied. I'm loving the drama of this look. Are you going to put lashes on top of that? You bet we're putting lashes on top of that. Going big this morning, my friends. I love seeing a clean wing across the top, but I like seeing it kind of get smudgy and worked into everything. On the bottom side of it, if you choose to do that. You could easily do this look without a wing and still just line your lower inner rim, smoke it out. I mean, if winged liner isn't your thing, I get that. Now, get your pencil brush or whatever brush you like to use that's going to be a little larger and give you a little more diffused color compared to a smudge brush or an angled liner brush. Going back to Faith, we're going to kind of start it here in the center of the lower lash line. Let it come inward. Let it also blend out, even just a little below your darkest stuff. I'm going really little by little with this color because I don't want it to get too out of hand. I've got a nice bright under eye here that I'm not looking to compromise, but really just allow the look to get kind of smoky with this beautiful matte warm brown. It's kind of a fun, unexpected tone shift alongside your really dark Passion shade. Now the interesting thing lashes will do for this look at this point is actually give it a hint more softness, because it just, you'll see the ends of the lashes and it'll all just kind of, I don't know, mesh. The last thing I'd like to do for this look, and I don't want it to be too bright and like, I don't know, changing the look too much, but I'm going to take a little Gratitude on my E47, so my little brush that's great for small details. Don't really pull this up onto the lid much. Just let it come only around the tear duct, like the innermost happenings of your eye right here. Just nice and light right in there. Somehow it makes the eye seem a little bigger because as you look at yourself or as someone else looks at you, I think it draws the eye all the way from out here to in here. I don't know, that explanation made sense in my head. If you're really feeling fun, you can pop a little Gratitude up here too. Next, my friends, I'm just going to curl my lashes. I'm going to apply mascara top and bottom, put on some Ardell Wispies, and I'll join you with the finished look, and I'll have a lip color on as well. So here's my end look. I got my lashes done. I used my NARS Climax on the upper lashes. I did a pretty thick, I'm not sure if you can tell, lower lash with the CoverGirl Clump Crusher water resistant, and then my Ardell Wispies are on top of that. Really, really pleased with how this eye look came out. I love the little kind of pop of peach there in the inner corner. Then you've got this kind of cool depth fading out all around the eye with that nice warm brown, and I think it coordinates so nicely with the lip today. I lined my lips with the Milani lip liner in Spice, and then I'm wearing the ColourPop lipstick in Money Moves, and this is a matte lipstick, but I just love that tone. I love how it works in with kind of our accent color that's radiating out from the look. And of course that blush and highlight and contour all coming from this palette. I like the freshness of the skin with the deep eye and the matte lip. It almost makes these intense parts of the look stand out even more in their own way, you know? So thank you guys so much for watching, and continue to send me your requests. Still want to do something with my mom with this palette bingo with the Once palette. Any other ideas you can come up with, I welcome them. Have a great day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.